All right, folks, welcome back. My standard Sudoku website seems to have disappeared. So we are going to go to the New York Times and we're going to do the hard puzzle today. Now the symmetry on this is not the same as the other one. So I'm going to have to get used to this new format here. But what I'm doing is just kind of taking a look at the sequence here. Anywhere where there's a row or a column. See, like this right here, there's a 2 that comes right through the middle. See this right here, there's 8s that come through here. This one right here, there's a 3 and an 8, for instance. So like, see this 3 and this 3 tells me this one can only be a 3. So when you're looking for patterns, lines like and columns are really good indicators. So now that we got going, I'm kind of looking for some pairs here. So I see a pair of 6s and a pair of 5s. Oh, there's my 6s and there's my 5s. So coming over here to this right cube, I know these two have to be 5 and 6, and that does for me what I call a double lock. No matter what we do, these two cannot be anything else other than 5 and 6. But see this 7, how it comes right through the middle? That tells me that this one has to be a 7. So with these 5s and 6s double locking, it forces the 7 up. Okay, so now let's take a gander what else that might have done for us. So I know I've got to have a 2 here, and I've got to have a 2 here because I have a pair of 2s, and I have this 2 that comes through the bottom. I have a pair of 7s that come across the top, and so I know that these bottom 2, one of them has to be a 7. See the 7 that comes up through the left and the 7 that comes through the bottom tells me that the 7 has to be up here, which that is good and handy dandy. This 5 here comes through the bottom. It tells me that one of these two has to be my 5. Okay. All right, now these two are double locked down here in this bottom right. So that actually tells me what these 3 numbers are. So here's going to be, if we look at this, we've got a 1, a 2, we need a 3, we need a 4, we've got our 5 and our 6, we've got a 7, and we need an 8. So we need a 3, 4, and 8. Now there's a 3 and a 4 right here, so that tells me this one has to be an 8. And that also tells me now that these guys are double locked as 3s and 4s. So that actually gives me ghost rows saying that there can't be a 3 or a 4 in these two. Now look at this, I've got a 3 and a 3, and then I've got a 3 ghost row, so that actually tells me this has to be a 3, and now only leaves one spot for the 7. That 7 helps me out with these two 7s. Let me clear that other 7 out of the way. Okay, all right. Now we have a 7 across the top, 7 across the bottom, 7 through the right side. So we know one of these two is a 7. Okay, that's helpful. We do have a pair of, let's see here. Okay, these 3s, actually we have a 3 right here that comes right through these intersections. So this is actually the only spot left for a 3. Bringing that up, we have a 3 through the center, a 3 through the right, and a 3 through the middle. Only spot left for a 3 goes here. And then if we follow that to the right, we know that one of these two has to be our 3 because we can't have it in the middle or on the top, which lines up with these two, making that a nice little even spread. Okay, now I was looking at this row here for just a moment because I noticed this 5, so I can't have a 5 in these two, but I have to have a 5 in this row, so I can't have one here. So this is actually the only spot left for a 5. I need a 6 in this row, and it can't go here, so that tells me that one of These two is a 6. Now this does something that I call a crisscross elimination. See how there's two 6s here in the center and the left, and then there's another 6 center and left. It could be any row or column, but they've got to line up. So if the 6 is here on the left, that means the 6 will be in the middle. If this 6 is in the left, this 6 is in the middle. So up here in this top cube, I can't have a 6 in the left or down the center because of these two that crisscross and complete the two columns. So my 6 actually has to be over here in one of these two cells. It's a crisscross elimination, and it's a pretty handy trick that you will see in these higher puzzles almost every single time. Okay, so we've got a 1, 2, 3. We need a 4, and it can't go here, but it could go here or here. 5, we need a 6, and we've got that identified here. And then we've got our 7, 8, and we need a 9. Okay, so the 9 can't go here. So right here we have a 9, possibly, and here's a possible 9. So now that row is completely marked up. Okay, so now this particular row only has 3 spots. Anywhere where there's only 3 or fewer spots, I like to identify them here. So we've got a 1, we need a 2. And that can be any one of those 3. We've got our 3. We need a 4, and that can be any one of those. 5, 6, 7, and then we need an 8. Okay, so the 8 cannot come down here. Oh, look at that. And the 8 cannot be here because of this one. So this actually is our 8. And nope. I marked that as a possible 8. That's the only one that can be an 8. Now over here, these two are possibly our 8s. So we have another crisscross elimination here. See this 8 that comes across? That means that 8 has to be in one of these 3. And see, we've got the left and the center column taken care of. So now in the center one, 8 has to go in one of these 2 because the left and the center already have their 8s. Okay, let's see what else we have to help us out. Okay, we do have a 1 here that goes all the way through and a 1 that comes down. So I only have 2 possibilities for my 1. Now that creates a ghost row, so I can't have a 1 here because of this one, and I can't have a 1 here because one of these two has to be a 1. So that tells me that my 1 in this cube goes here. So we have our 1, we have our 2, we have a 3, we need a 4. Now the 4 can't go here, so it can be any one of these 3. And that creates a ghost row up, so that tells me that my 4 is one of these 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I need a 9, and my 9 can't go here. Okay. All right. Okay, I think I'm going to have to kind of start getting a little more systematic. I've just kind of been letting my mind wander and look for the pairs. Okay, we've got our 1. Can't have a 2 over here, but I could have a 2 any one of those places. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like the 9 is going to really be the tricky one on this particular puzzle because I've only got one of them here. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at this column here. I was just kind of looking at some of the numbers, and I noticed this 4. So it tells me I can't have a 4 in any one of these 3 spots, and I can't have a 4 because of this 4. So the only spot to actually have a 4 in this column is right there, and that helps us to resolve this 3. Now that 3 then, just kind of following the pattern, one of these two had to be a 3, so there's my 3. Now this one makes this one a 6. I'll get rid of my 3 here. Okay, so we've got the 5 and the 6, and now we're just missing an 8 and a 9. Okay. 8 and a 9. Okay. Okay, I'm just kind of let my brain float around all the twos. So we have some ones here and a one that goes across the bottom. So these two have to be my one. Okay, I have a two across the bottom and a two up the right side. So one of these three is my twos. Try not to mark it unless I only have two. But I might be getting to the point where, ooh, hey, I just saw a pair of sixes. And there's no six here in the center, which is only going to leave this one spot for the six. And that helps me with my four. Okay. All right, now that tells me that my 4 has to be over here. Okay, all right, that's good. What else do we have now? 1, 2, 3. It was a 5 and a... Okay, cool. Cool. So there's a double lock here. See, I can't have a 4 here, and I can't have a 9 here. So these two are now double locked as 4s and 9s. So the only place left for my 5 is here. And you also see that there's a 5 and a 5, so I can't have that 5 there. So there's my 4 9s. Now that 5 there is going to help us down here. There's our 6 now, and there's our 5. Now one of these two was a 6. Now this 6 is going to help that out. So here is, now that's going to complete this row for us here, because there's my 6. Now this can't be a 6, it has to be a 4. And now this is the only spot left for my 9. That 9 just cascades on up. There's our 4 and our 9. We just flip that around a smidge. Okay, now these two 9s are going to come down. We can't have a 9 in the middle, can't have a 9 in the right, and we can't have a 9 in the top. So our 9 has to go here. Now with a 9 in the top and a 9 in the bottom, our 9 has to go in the middle. Now only leaves one spot left for our 2. And the two numbers we're missing looks like a 1 and a 4. And we do have a 4 right here. So there's our 1 and there's our 4. Okay, so we're just going to kind of keep following those through here. So I need a 1 and a 2, and I need an 8 and a 4. Okay, so let me just mark those. Oh, not a 5. 4, 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2. Okay, because we just don't have those all the way just yet, and that's okay. That's all right. Let's see, I'm looking vertically here. I need a 7 and a 9 is what it looks like. Okay, let's take a look. What other numbers am I missing? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I got two numbers that are missing here. Looks like a 2 and a 9. Yep, because my 9, okay, so if that's a 2 or a 9, let me just mark those so I don't have to figure out what those are again. Got my 1, I need a 2. Ooh, 2's can be everywhere on that one. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I need a 7. All right, but my 7 cannot go up here, so my 7 has to come down here. All right, now I need an 8. Now that looks like that can go everywhere, and then I need a 9, but my 9 has to go over here. And what am I missing over here? It looks like an 8 and a 9, 8 and a 9, 8 and a 9. Get those marked. Oop, I missed it. There it is. 8 and a 9. Okay, there we go. Let's see what we have here. We've got a 9 that goes right through the center. So I know I've got to have a 9 here or a 9 here. Got my 8. 7s are marked. 6, I need a 5. 5 can't be in the left. I think I just identified this here as a 7 or a 9. Okay, so 5 has to be in these ones. 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5 and a 1 go over here somewhere. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's see what we are missing here. 1 can be any one of these 4. Got no help on the 2s. The 2s are being feisty. Okay, I do have a 4 that comes through the middle, 4 that comes down the right, so that makes this one a 4. Now that helps me out here with my 8 and my 4 here. So up here, I needed a 2, 5, and 8. Okay, well, I can't have a 5 or an 8 here. So that means that this one has to be a 2, and these two have to be my 5 and 8. And this one has to be my 2. Let me just double check my thinking there, because it can't be a 1. The 3 numbers I'm missing up here is a 2, a 5, and an 8. And I can't put a 5 or an 8 there. So that means my 5 and 8 have to go here, which makes this one a 2. Okay, so we have a 5 and an 8, 5 and an 8. Just double checking my numbers there. Now this middle 2 that we just put in is going to help us with these 2 here. Okay, now here I'm just missing one number. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a 6, 79. So I'm missing my 6. We'll put that one in there. Okay. So now I'm just missing a 1 and an 8. A 1 and an 8. Okay. All right. So we've got a bunch of numbers that just fell into place. Now I have to not get lost in the translation here. Okay. All right. Okay, so this 6 here goes through the middle, and we have a 6 in the right and a 6 on the left. So this is the only place left for a 6. Okay, so that's all of those. What else did we put in? We put in a 2. So one of these 2 now have to be our 2. Okay. Our 7 comes up, so one of these 2 have to be our 7. Okay, and that lines up good with this one. So now I only have 3 spots for my 1. 1. My 9 comes up, so 9 can be any one of these ones. So what am I missing? I'm missing a 9, a 5, and a 1. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's see what we have. We just put the 6 in. What else did we put in that was in that we don't have? We have all... Okay. Hey, cool. All right. So we have all the 4s, we have all the 3s, and we have all the 6s. Very good. Very good. Okay.
When the team at Google finds out I'm being helpful, they're going to be so proud.
Let's see what we have. Okay, this one of these 2 has to be a 2. So we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there any help on the 8? 8. Okay, I'm just going to have to mark everything here so I get it all in there. One of those 2, one of those 3 are 8. Okay, and then the 9 comes up the middle, and oh, there we go. There's our ghost row that I was looking for. So one of these 2 here have to be a 9. So that tells me that this can't be a 9 anymore. So that tells me this is actually the only one left that can actually be a 9. Okay, so now with that 9 coming down and this 9 coming up, this is actually the only spot left for a 9. Okay, that turns this one into a 7. And now I can clean up my pencil mark here. And the only 2 numbers left here are a 1 and a 5. Okay, so if those are a 1 and a 5, that means this one has to be our 7. This one has to be our 5. This one has to be our 1, only number left. Okay, now this 1 comes over here, helps us with our 8. This one over here helps us with our 1. Okay, this one cannot be a 9 anymore because we already have our 9, so that becomes a 2. This one becomes our 9. This one becomes our 2. It's the only thing left for the 2. Okay, and we had this one all marked out, so this is the only one left for a 1, and this is the only one left for an 8. We're just kind of following, cascading it down very carefully so I don't mess up my pencil marks. So now we're missing a 7 and an 8. Of course, we can get this 2 out of here, and then we have an 8 and a 7 here, so we're just going to flop those. There goes 8. There goes 7. Okay, now we have an 8 here, so now we know this one is a 5. We know this one is an 8. And the last two numbers we're missing here are a 1 and a 5, and we have a 1 and a 5, so we're just going to flop those, 5 and a 1. And there you have it, folks. We have a hard puzzle there. We used the double eliminations, we used the crisscross, and just took some time there. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to pause the show before we get started, print you off a couple copies, play along with. I always welcome the comments and suggestions and challenges. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.